Hey there everybody on YouTube, this is Kyle Snyder once again, aka Clipton, and this time I'm going to be doing something a bit different. This time I'm going to be doing another top 10 list, but this time I'm going to be discussing each part, each number with its own video. This time I'm going to be doing what I feel are the top 10 most controversial calls in the NFL. Now, of course, a lot of people have different opinions on what the most controversial calls are. Obviously, NFL Network has its own list of controversial calls. I have my own list. You have your own list. But anyways, what makes a controversial call is a call that a lot of fans disagree with the refs, and some agree with the refs. It's basically a call that can be debated for years and years on end. And some of the calls that I'm going to be discussing are some that many of you may not be familiar with, such as number 10, as I'm going to discuss in this video. But one such controversial call that I will not be discussing in this top 10 list is the Music City Miracle. Why, you ask? Because pretty much the controversy of the Music City Miracle has been put to rest. I mean, the forward pass versus a lateral, it was the Tennessee Titans versus the Buffalo Bills in the 1999 wildcard game. With 15 seconds left, Tennessee had to score to win the game. They scored on a trick play off the kickoff, and some Bills fans still think it's a forward pass instead of a lateral, but the overhead angle shows that the pass clearly went backwards, which is perfectly legal. The referee ruled that the call stood and that it was a lateral, and with computer assistance that they put to rest once and for all that it is a lateral. So the Music City Miracle doesn't make my list because the controversy of that has been solved. But anyways, I'm going to be starting off with number 10 of what I feel are the most controversial calls in the NFL. And this call is one that many of you may not know, but I call it Matt Hasselbeck's incomplete pass to himself. Now, this game occurred, Matt Hasselbeck, for those who know, is a quarterback that plays on the Seattle Seahawks. He's still the starting quarterback for that team. They were playing against the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 3 of the 2007 season. It was getting near the end of the game. Seattle was down by 4 points. It was on their final offensive drive. They were at about I think the 44-yard line, I think, or somewhere around there. Anyways, Matt Hasselbeck going for a pass. It gets deflected. The ball flies up real high. Matt Hasselbeck ends up catching it himself, gets tackled, falls down and fumbles the ball, or so it seems, but really the ground caused the fumble. Cincinnati tries to recover it, thinking it's a fumble, but the officials blew the play dead just a split second before the Bengals recovered. They ruled it incomplete. So apparently Cincinnati's mad about this call. So what do you think they do? It's before the 2-minute warning. Well, like any head coach, you'd throw the red flag out to challenge the play. And that's exactly what Marvin Lewis, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, did. He threw the red flag out to challenge the play. But here's where the controversy comes. The referee said that the play was not reviewable. Why? Because Marvin Lewis wanted the play to be challenged for it to see if it was a fumble and for the Bengals to recover. But instead, Ed Hockley, the referee of the game, said the following: "By rule, we stay with the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. It is not a play that can be challenged because the defense recovered after the ruling of an incomplete pass. Therefore, second down, incomplete ruling stands." And obviously, Marvin Lewis just threw a fit, as with any other as with any other coach would do when he's told the play can't be reviewed. But where the real controversy comes in is that Marvin Lewis should have challenged that the pass was complete instead of incomplete, because then the Seattle Seahawks would have lost some yards, and it might have changed their desperation and their play patterns in their final offensive drive. But because Marvin Lewis did not challenge that the pass was incomplete instead of complete, and instead tried to challenge that it was a fumble, Seattle got to keep it at 2nd and 10, and they managed to score a touchdown on their final offensive drive, and the final score was 24-21. And obviously, the controversy doesn't come from the referee's decision. Well, partially it does, but the real controversy comes from Marvin Lewis's different view on what should have been challenged. I mean, that's where it came from. If he challenged that the pass was incomplete instead of challenging that it was a fumble, then maybe the Bengals would have won that game. But who knows how it would have changed the outcome of the game if Marvin Lewis challenged that it was an incomplete pass. But I consider this the number 10 most controversial call in all of the NFL. Not because the referees got the call wrong, but because Marvin Lewis completely blew the challenge. Anyways, that's number 10, and be sure to check in for other videos on what I consider most controversial calls in all of the NFL.